Blessed be the holy set apart. Blessed be the obedient ones. Happy set apart day, brothers and sisters. Yes, today is the holy set apart day. I pray that you all had a wonderful week, and now this is the time for us to rest and break bread and enjoy the greatness that the Most High has done for us and all that He is doing and He is going to do. Today's lesson is the weight. Okay, and so as I was rising, I got a little bit of a drop last night when I was lying in the bed and just clearing my mind to go into the mode of the set apart day. And he kind of gave me a drop of what we're going to be talking about. But I'm going to let that be a surprise while I play this song. This song is by that artist I've been playing, y'all, Marizu, Marizu. And this song is called Stay Here. Oh, before I go any further, blessed be Yahweh, my soul, and all that is within me. Bless his holy, set apart name. In Yeshua, the true and living word, I shall be confident. Oops, got a brain fart. Scratch, blooper. Let's do it again. Because he deserves the best. Blessed be Yahweh, my soul, and all that is within me. Bless his holy, set apart name. In Yeshua, the true and living word, I shall be confident. In Yeshua, the true and living word, the Father shall be glorified. All praises. So let me play this song. Give me something to drink, and I'll be right back. And you stray, they flow like the wind. But in you I'll stay grounded in. I will stay here. I will stay here, right here. I will keep my mind stay on you. 'Cause you are pure and true. Pure and true. I will stay here, right here. Come with me, here I'll remain. Happy set apart day. Fast in prayer and strong in faith. It's a set apart day, fam. I hope y'all feeling as excited as I am. Yeah, yeah. All of the girls he be singing, so on your word I'm standing. That's right. Girls he be singing, so on your word I'm standing. Everybody's searching, looking for safety in the wrong things. No, I'll hold on, I'll hold on. I'll stay strong, I'll hold on. Let me use my little tiny Bible. Many stray, they flow like the wind. But in you, I will stay grounded. That's right, singing. I will stay here. Here, I will stay here. We're gonna be in the story of Esther today, guys. Pure and true, pure and true. I will stay here, right here. Zion changed my solar lights on my desk. Little voice too much. Set apart day, family. All right. Okay. So, as the Father was giving me the lesson for today, placing it in my heart, um, it's like it was going one way, and I'm telling you, it's the way the Father moves. You got to really pay attention because you'll assume it's going one way, but it always goes another, right? The mind, our mind is lower than his thoughts, right? So, I wrote a few notes down, and I don't want anyone to perceive that these lessons are me trying to help sisters find a man. What I want to give is the proper perception for a sister to get in position for her man. And not only that, but the outcome for those who are married, how to maintain what you have gained, okay? Because there's a lot of gunk and crap out here with a, opposing division agendas to bring division between the unity of man and woman. And so we, the children of the Most High, are here to bring a cleanup crew concerning these kind of matters. Now, um, I want to start off with Esther, and then I'm going to go to the second part of the breakdown of the lesson. All right. So let's start off in the book of Esther. Um, if you have a Haya Yabs Bible, that is great. If you have a KJV, you can follow along as well. I don't know about the NIVs. My daughter has an English Standard Bible, which is bigger print and a lot more clear for her to understand because the Old English for children is not as easy, and that is their main educational curriculum, which is the word. So I got that for them for understanding purposes. But I will be I have my Haya Yabs open, but I'm going to be reading out of the my mini one because there's certain bullet points that it gives you like titles, and it's easy for me to find my place and for teaching purposes. So that's what I'm going to read. If you see me tossing, you're like that's what's going on. And we also will be in the Apocrypha, which has the rest, the additions to Esther. Okay, and you would think, well, gee, this is evidence why they have took. This is evidence on how they took our books because why wouldn't the rest of the additions to Esther be with the book of Esther? Why is it separated? But understand in the ancient days, the scriptures were in scroll form. So, you know, it was easy for them to be misplaced and off. Okay. Gee, my golly. There we go. All right. So starting off. Okay. Now it came to pass in the days of Azarus, Asarus. I think I kind of had it when I was reading earlier. Let me try again. Asusurus. Asusurus. This is Asusurus, which reigned in from India even unto Ethiopia, over 107 and 20 provinces. So 127 provinces. That in those days, when the king Ahasuerus sat on the throne of his kingdom, which was in Shushan, the palace, in the third year of his reign, he made a feast unto all his princes and all his servants, the power of Persia and Media, the nobles and princes of the provinces being before him. When he showed, so he's having a very important meeting, okay, a gathering with some people like from all over that they answer to him that he checks in with or whatever like that. Okay. Um, where was I? Okay, verse 4. When he showed the riches of his glorious kingdom and the honor of his excellent majesty many days, even 180 days. And when these days were expired, the king made a feast unto all the people that were present in Shushan, the palace, both great and small, 7 days in the court of the garden of the king's palace. We we were white, green, where were white, green, and blue hangings fastened with cords of fine linen, and purple to silver rings, and pillars of marble. The beds were of gold and silver upon a pavement of red, and blue, and white, and black marble. Get that picture in your head. That's beautiful. And they gave them drink in vessels of gold, the vessels being diverse one from another, and royal wine in abundance, according to the state of the king. And the drinking was according to the law. None did compel, for so the king had appointed to all the officers of his house, that they should do according to every man's pleasure. Also, Vashti the king, queen, excuse me, Vashti the queen made a feast for the women in the royal house which belonged to King Ahasuerus. Verse 10. Queen Vashti refuses the king. On the seventh day, when the heart of the king was merry with wine, he commanded Muhuman, Biztha, Harbona, Bigtha, and Agbitha, Zethar, and Sarxus, the seven chamberlains that served in the presence of Ahasuerus the king, to bring Vashti the queen before the king with the crown royal, to show the people and the princess her beauty, for she was fair to look on. But the queen Vashti refused to come at the king's commandment by his chamberlains. Therefore was the king very wroth, and his anger burned in him. So this is the problem we're going to start off with. Welcome. Shabbat Shalom, beloved. I'm Amaziah David Israel, son of Yah. Welcome. Ak, that's how you say, brother. So, back in those days, in ancient times of the East, it was not casual for a woman to just present herself before her king. I'm talking about royalty. Now, another with the minor, not say minor, but amongst the people, the public, they live with their husbands. And even in that sense, if the husband was out and about or working, it was just, goes to show you the kind of reference and the silent understanding that was given from even after Eve, because though Eve made that horrible mistake, it's very clear that because she made that mistake, she made that disobedient decision, then the shame came from what she could see what she did. So it was just like men kind of was like, all right, you can understand where it came from. What I'm saying is the woman being in submission, the woman being in order, the woman understanding her place, the woman understanding her role and respecting that and not feeling it's an offense. But also you can see here is the attitude of Vashti. And I'm just, this lesson is so important. And in so many ways, this book has been expressed where people just think about what Esther did. I'm not trying to take from Esther, but right now I want to really express the importance on the gratitude of what this queen did, this Vashti character. By her saying no, and mind you, she's having a party with other women. Can you understand how her attitude contaminated the other women? Now, if her husband, the king, had great men and different kings and princes or different princes amongst him, then that would mean their wives were with her and her company. So for her to do that to her king amongst these women was a disgrace. It's not even, it needs to be highly expressed of what the John Brown crap she did. Okay, excuse me, I'm getting a bit emotional. Bring it down. All right, moving along. Okay, so verse 13. Then the king said to the wise men, which knew the times, which means they were aware of what times it was. In other words, is it common for a woman to tell her husband no? When not only that, but a queen couldn't even, if a queen could not come before her husband, that means he's calling for you. You should want to come, unless you have established and adapted an attitude in your time of not being able to come around him. Excuse me. All right. So let's go to 15. So he's with the wise men, and which saw the king's face. And I'm sorry, I didn't read the rest of 14. I didn't play reading all those names, so I'm gonna just start from and which sat the first in the kingdom. So this is all those guys. What shall we do unto the queen Vashti according to the law, because she have not performed the commandment of the king Ahasuerus by the chamberlains? And Mumachin answered before the king and the princess, Vashti the queen hath not done wrong to the king only, but also to all the princes and to all the people that are in the provinces of the king. Now, these are wise men. So as I put in my side notes, wisdom surrounded the king. He made his decision to replace Vashti according to wisdom. and it pleased him. So wisdom pleased him. So it wasn't just that she was beautiful. That goes to show you that it ain't good enough to just be beautiful or have a brain. You better have a mind to operate in wisdom, sisters. Hear me, sisters. Okay. That's sisters that want to be kept, and sisters who are in the weight to be kept. Okay. Let me see. Let me just bring it closer to me. All right. So you said the queen had not done this wrong to the king only, but also to all the princes and to all the people that are in the provinces of the king. So he said she has contaminated literally the kingdom with this rebellion. Just as well as Eve have defiled creation with death due to her thinking to be wiser than she had ought to be. For this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all women, so that they shall despise their husbands in their eyes when it shall be reported. I just saw yesterday a TikTok video when a woman said it was a lady and like in the picture, but a man in the background, like in the kitchen, and she had a glass of wine. She was like, "When you figured out that you found a helpmeet," and had that one song in the background, and I go do, and it started getting loud. But what really got me was I'm thinking the guy was getting ready to talk about how he found him a helpmeet, but yet it was her expressing how he was in the kitchen, he was cleaning, he was cooking, and all the while she's sitting there with a wine glass. What's wrong with this? What's wrong with that picture, family? I'll tell you what's wrong with that picture. I looked in the comment section, a lot of women was like, yes, this is what it's all about to be. Now, I'm not saying if a brother wants to help his wife, his queen, keep the house, if he cares enough to want to, clean, so be it. But it's not, see, that's the same thing. She presented that in a video on TikTok that people can instantly see that, so that people can get an instant imagination idea to think that the man's the helpmeet. This is what we call a switching of the roles. This kind of nonsense is out of order. It is annoying. It is annoying, y'all. If it don't bother you, something is wrong. What is it? It doesn't matter if you have a job or if you make more money than him or not. You should never think that the man is the helpmeet. The woman's the helpmeet to the man. This is what the Father made the woman to be. So by Vashti denying the command, she basically was like, your word is nothing to me. So that not only would she show other women that you can disobey your king, but you making other people think, even male and female, think that your husband's word is not bond. Your husband's word is not to be respected or referenced. You out here trying to son your whole wild husband amongst major people. This is disgusting. If he had wise men surrounding him, and then one was able to speak up and express the gratitude of what she's done, that goes to show you what kind of king he was. And this king, I can say, was worthy of honor. We don't know what bumped upon Vashti's head. Maybe she was feeling herself. Maybe she was like some of those Islamic women who want to come over here and say they want to join the White House or whatever. They want to be outspoken to get women's rights. And I mean, let me make a fine line here. People say, well, you're so old fashioned and women deserve to be. I'm not saying women don't deserve to be respected or heard. But what I'm saying is there is decency in order to that thing. There's a chain of command for a reason. There are some things that is just for men. They're not for women. And that is the mindset that women need to keep. And a lot of these out of order thinking women, y'all gonna be in the lake. Y'all gonna be destroyed. You're gonna be brushed off the earth. Y'all are contamination. Y'all are a problem. Y'all are a hindrance. Y'all are an annoyance. Y'all are disgusting. You are funky. You need to get you out of here. And you men that are assisting that kind of spirit, allowing that kind of mindset to be, You a problem as well. Now, so I'm going to read verse 17 again. For this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all women, so that they shall despise their husbands in their eyes. When it shall be reported, the king Ahasuerus, just let me say something real quick. Just think about how many shows, I'm talking about shows where it's majority of melanated people. And you'll see it's like a family. And they always got the man be like, oh, I don't want my wife to find out. Or like the king fearful of the woman. It's mainly like that in our type. They want to present that kind of stuff in amongst our community. Because if, just for example, if Esau within his own self has a mind that he had towards his own brother Jacob, one must wonder what kind of mindset he would have towards his own wife. You see the confusion in their households? That kind of confusion was not heard of us when we came off them ships. It's time to bring it back, family. It's time for the order of proper protocol with the women in order with their husbands, or women that are not married in order amongst brethren. Because remember, the word says in Proverbs 18:22, he that finds a wife, which means she don't have to be married to be a wife. She's already got it going on. Because let me say something, brothers. I don't want to spook y'all out, but this is how the Holy Spirit works. Knowing what y'all need, if we're made to be what you need to help you, the Father's going to give us the wisdom and understanding of what you're looking for. So it's no excuse or not to be that. Let's finish this word out over here in the rest of 17. Ahasuerus commanded Vashti, the queen, to be brought in before him, but she came not. He's expressing to her, he said, he gave a command, everyone, and yet she did not hearken to his command. What did the word say? A house divided cannot stand, which means, is there trouble in paradise up in here? If y'all not in agreement, suppose someone came and sieged the king and the queen had to be the next in order of direction. We can't trust this queen. She bugged out. She's going off. She's not being a help me. It doesn't matter if they weren't the children of Jacob or not. These type of laws was known amongst the land in the times. Because, for example, when Abraham came to visit Ishmael and his wife would not present herself to him in hospitality and honor and respect, not even knowing who he was, he gave her the word in a parable form. You got to go. Hey, this tent ain't right. This nail or whatever have you is not sturdy. This ain't no pillar of rest. This a pillar of folly. Verse 18. Likewise shall the ladies of Persia and Media say this day unto all the king's princes which have heard of the deed. Basically, see, there you go. See, they're not just wise men and respect their king, but listen, we got our own wives that we got to cover. And we going to be darned if we going to let our wives do that. This is how brothers talk amongst themselves. Yo, did she just do what she do? Like, nah, she ain't do that for word. What? Oh man, she gotta go, dog. You gotta get rid of that. This is what they're saying, family. He said, which have heard the deed of the queen, thus shall there arise too much contempt and wrath. A little bit of leaven the whole lump. If it please the king, let there go a royal commandment from him and let it be written. No, it's in there still talking in reference, not trying to overstep him and say, listen, they said, if it please your brother, hey, listen, man, here's a little word of advice. Here's a little wisdom for you. The king does what he please. And so because, you call for your wife to come and she ain't want to please you. If this please you, how about you go ahead and get rid of her? How that sound? be written among the laws of the Persians and Medes, that it be not altered, that Vashti come no more before the king Ahasuerus, and let the king give her royal estate unto another that is better than she. And when the king's decree which he shall make shall be published throughout all his empire, for it is great. So he said, no, we're not going to let this rebellion be published. We're going to let the decision of an example of, if anybody think they're going to do this kind of nonsense, you got to go. Bye-bye. And what you got going to be given to another one. Don't touch that coat. Just like the Orange Juice Jones song, I seen you and him walking in the rain. And she came in. He said, hey, baby, sit down here, sit down here. He said, I got some hot chocolate on the stove for you. When she went to that closet, tried to touch that fur coat, he said, don't touch that coat. Leave that right there. Here's your bag. Everything you came with. Going out the door. Leave what you came with. Verse 20, and when the king's decree which he shall make shall be published throughout all his empire, for it is great. All the wives shall give to their husbands honor, both great and small. So he wasn't coming on, it's just about the kings or princes, but they're overlooked. They realized this issue this decision she made to rebel was a hindrance in the kingdom, the empire rather, which is the history of that kingdom and the present, the future of that kingdom. It never needs to be published or even heard of that a woman ever thought. And yes, we are reading about it, but we also know what happened after it. Okay. Verse 21. And the same pleased the king. What is it? And the same pleased the king. And the what? And that wisdom, that's what I said. I put on my notes, pleased the king. So he didn't have some silly clowns surrounding him. His circle was not just princes, but they were wise princes. You didn't see no other prince speak out, say, I don't agree. Maybe we should give her some chance. Maybe she wasn't feeling good, or I don't know. Maybe they was just having a good laugh and she didn't like, being rude to her guests. No, that was not the option. She could have kindly said, hey, ladies, I am going to dismiss myself. You go ahead and help yourself to some hors d'oeuvres, and this is in the third. Let the music go on, laugh, kiki, and all that. Check out some fragrances we got for you. Nice little bags. I'll be right back. My husband just summoned for me. No. She didn't do that. What did Vashti do? No, I'm not going. Oh, girl, did you smell yourself? So what's going on in this kingdom? Do we see examples of this kind of wisdom being reenacted? Where if a TV show comes out with a man wanting to put on a dress, and that puts me in the mind to mention this. Shout out to Kwame Brown concerning his address on Dwayne Wade allowing Gabrielle Union Wade to run the House in regards to allowing his son, not even hers, his son, to put on a dress in mockery memorialization of Kobe Bryant, who was a masculine man who had a whole wife. And he had 2 daughters, not little boys wanting to be daughters, but he had daughters. It is a shame. Rest to the soul of Kobe and his daughter. But what I want to say is he had a point. And the point was, dude, I can't think of the first man who might have put on a dress, but could you imagine from that time and look today and see, not imagine, but can you see from that decision of the first black male putting on a dress to now how the heathen wanted to mock us? See, the same way Vashti said no to her husband is the same shame and disgrace it brings to our people for a black male who has a name of popularity for influence, right? That his child is being seen and heard and recognized for putting on a dress. But beforehand, nobody probably really paid him no mind. He would have just been a son, like a child, you know what I'm saying? The Wade's child. Even with Will and Jada, people start talking about Willow and and Jaden when you see them looking cooped out. And this is the way that we, as a people, the heathen want us to be seen and recognized. And on top of that, if it's not the homosexual agenda, it's the out of control Vashti's syndrome. We're going to have to identify that out of order women as the Vashti syndrome. It's the Eve Vashti. It's not the Eve because what Eve didn't operate in that. She was beguiled into that spirit. And you have other women being beguiled. So the same serpent, like I believe Savior has said, it's the same. They're producing it. The Adam and Eve thing is being pushed through their allegorum, and just they got a certain system of homosexuality, folly, idolatry, emasculate the men, women out of order, to help assist emasculate the men. Now, when he beats so down, he's amongst other men who are down with him. They despise the woman because what she's done. So now they come together. And the man is making him feel he can love him more than she can. And you got these broken, grown boys out here with these platforms calling themselves high value. And I honestly feel like a high value man is another form to say an emasculated man who's a crybaby chump who been hurt and is out for revenge to break women. So that is the same as detrimental as the women breaking the men. It's toxic both ways. And I can't fathomably understand why women are allowing them, subjecting themselves to, I know why, because they're broken. There's going to be a lot more women out here that are available because we have men, it's a scarcity for a man, period, when it comes to our nation. We're not just talking about a good man, our men, period. Then you look at how many are available to even be a possible candidate to evaluate for a husband. Almost about 8 out of 10 of our men, 9 out of 10, have been incarcerated, are walking with trauma, or something. They are homosexual, or they are into white women, or other women of other nations. It's like, you see what I'm saying, family? And so with our nation of a people have had a generations of pandemic of scarcity and lack, the stance that men like Kwame is having concerning approaching this, something needs to be done, is healthy. It is, that kind of voice needs to be heard. That kind of stance is necessary. That a brother will check his brother on, why are you out here putting on a dress? Why are you allowing your son to put on a dress and dishonor a man in his legacy who was nothing like a feminine man? So it goes to show you how the heathens will get your own to disrespect your name, when the word even says a great name is greater than riches. This is nothing to be taken for light, family. And you can see the effeminateness in the face of Dwayne Wade. You can, it's like, and you can see, I've never liked none of the roles that Gabrielle played in the first place, because she's always played like the mean girl, and she's always been like the snippety one. Even in she was in an episode of Sister Sister. She was the one that was trying to get Tamara to help steal some stuff. And then when she was in the did she play in the Steve Urkel show? I'm not sure if that was her or the other girl. I don't know, Bring It Out, or whatever. Like majority of the stuff she played in, I just never liked her role. And now I say it's a shame that who she was behind film is the same who she is in life. That maybe that's why they give her those roles, because she probably is a snobby type. You know what I'm saying? But let's get back to the scriptures, y'all. So, because this is going to be an exciting lesson, and it already is for me. And when the king decreed, which he shall, okay, I'm at right there. Let's go on. Verse 22, for he sent letters into all the king's provinces, and to every province according to the writing thereof, and to every people after their language, that every man should bear rule in his own house. Here we go. And that it should be published according to the language of every people. They say, listen up. Let every man rule his house. That's in the Bible. And guess what? The Father felt it necessary to be recorded in his word. It isn't, these people were not the children of Isaac. But guess what? This is a righteous thing right here. Men run the house, and men are in charge. And if a man have an issue and be slacking that, the wife is to help him, not to think that her help is to make her feel like, well, you need me. And no, the Father didn't say he need. He said it's not good for him to be alone. Father didn't say he need to help me. He said, I'm going to make him help me. It is not good for him to be alone. And that go to show you everything the Father made was good. So he said, this is good to the Father, is complete. It's balanced. Is order. Is structure. It don't make nobody's sense. Dwayne, do you want your name to continue? How's your son going to continue your name if he out here talking about he's somebody Zaya, whatever, putting on a dress, getting nails done, eyeshadow, pocketbooks. A sight. Chapter 2 of Esther. After these things, when the wrath of the king Ahasuerus was appeased, he remembered Vashti and what she had done and what was decreed against her. Then said the king's servants that ministered unto him, let there be a fair young virgins sought for the king, and let the king appoint officers in all provinces of his kingdom, that they may gather together all the fair young virgins unto Shushan, the palace, to the house of the woman, unto the custody of Hege, the king's chamberlain, keeper of the women, and let their things for purification be given them. So virgin in those times is not just a woman who hasn't been touched, but a woman of age and available to be married. Because there are little girls who are virgins too, but they weren't taking little girls. So virgin concept really mainly meant a woman who is at stage to be wed. Verse 4, and let the maiden which pleaseth the king be queen instead of Vashti, and the thing pleased the king, and he did so. Let me read it again. And let the maiden which pleaseth the king be queen instead of Vashti, and the thing pleased the king, and he did so. So they said to him, if it pleased the king, get another wife. They presented wisdom. So we know that wisdom pleases the king. All right, keep that in mind as we're reading the story. Let's go down. Now in Shushan, the palace, there was a certain Jew whose name was Mordecai, the son of Jair, the son of Shemai, the son of Kish, a Benjamite. Shout out to my tribe. All right, verse 6. Who had been carried away from Jerusalem with the captivity which had been carried away with Jehoiakim, the king of Judah, from Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, had carried away. And he brought up Hadassah, that is Esther, his uncle's daughter, for she had neither father nor mother, and the maid was fair and beautiful. Now I want to make an expression on fair as well. Some would say fair means lighter complexion. Fair is not, first of all, you have to understand where we're at. Okay, so we're in an area where a darker hue of melanin was so common that, it wasn't really ugly. It's only ugly over here in the Western world because the white man rules over here. So they want to make our blessings look like it's ugly. Okay. And we do come in different shades and variances of hues. However, fair is not just light. It's brown, darker, or whatever. Fair is beautiful. Okay. Now it says fair and beautiful. But when I was meditating on this earlier, the Father gave me an idea of when a person looks at a person and say they're fair and then mention beautiful, that lets you know they have normal things like, okay, decent size, fair. Okay, fair is just like, I can work with you and you got beauty. So do you have two eyes? Do you have a mouth? Like, because I've seen some Caucasians, and I'm not trying to be rude, but a lot of them got short, like Tyrannosaurus Rex arms. Like, their arms look short. Like, something about them is a little strange. So could you say they are fair? I can't say they're fair because that kind of stuff is fair because their arms are short. They look like they came out like a premature. Like, when you're cooking something, you take the meat out, it doesn't look like it's cooked. This is the perception I see them in. They get burned by the sunlight. So that's not fair to me. But they wanted to make it seem like fair was pale as ever. It looks sick to me. Fair with a pale, my understanding. Well, in other words, pale looks sick. That's what I'm trying to say. You touch them, you see their like the blood, or you hold them, they turn red. Like, that's weird. Okay, but that's just my opinion. That's not biblical. I'm just saying, well, not to say it's not biblical. I want all to hear that fair being pale and light skin is not biblical. That is what was presented by the oppressors who wanted to present his image as he was God, and present as the Most High, and present his image as he is the Almighty. All right. And let the maiden which pleaseth the king. Okay, I read that. Verse 5. Now Shushan I read that. Read that. Okay, I read that. Come to pass. All right, 8. So it came to pass when the king's commandment and his decree was heard, and when many maidens were gathered together unto Shushan the palace to the custody of Haggai, that Esther was brought also into the king's house to the custody of Haggai, keeper of the women. And the maiden pleased him, and she obtained kindness of him, and she speedily gave her things, and he speedily gave her things of purification. So he was eager to give Esther. So Hadassah had favor with the keeper of the women. What that tell you? Just like with the Most High's people, he had put favor on you before she went before the king. She already walking in the building with favor. All right. So it said, which things that's belong to the 7 maidens, which were meet to given her out of the king's house, and he preferred her and her maids unto the best place of the house of the women. So he not only did he give her herself, but he was like, hey, listen, you and your maids, you're gonna be over here in the best area. Esther had not showed her people nor kindred, so she didn't reveal who she was. In other words, there was no difference in outward appearance. Let that marinate. So the Persians and the Medes in the ancient of times were not these light complected people that you see today. Now, and Mordecai walked every day before the court of the women's house to know Esther, how Esther did, and what should become of her. Now I'm trying to find. All right, let me just read Haman's part. Let me see. All right, I'm gonna keep reading. All right. Now when every maid's turn was to come, yeah, here I am, to go into King Ahasuerus. After that, she had been 12 months, according to the manner of women. For so were the days of their purification accomplished, to wit, 6 months with oil of myrrh, and 6 months with sweet odors, and with other things for the purifying of the women. Then thus came every maiden unto the king, whatsoever she desired was given unto her to go with her out of the house of the women unto the king's house. Now, this is the part I want you to keep in mind when I said wisdom surround the king. In the evening she went, and on the morrow she returned into the second house of the women, to the custody of Shaashgaz, the king's chamberlain, which kept the concubines. She came in unto the king no more, except the king delighted in her, and that she were called by name. So this was just letting you know, once they go to see the king once. If the king delighted in her, he would call for her to come again. It said he will call for her again. He that finds a wife. So again, to that female who said to me that other video when I was doing Romans 5, I mean not Romans 5, Proverbs 5, and I had to do a 2-part video, and she came on my video and said to me, help me find a man. That mindset, sisters, needs to be eradicated from your thinking process. You're not to be trying to find a man. It doesn't matter what she's talking about, tired of burning. The weight is the reason for this video to be called The Wait is because the wait, just like the woman waits for the man, so is the bride of the king. We're waiting on the king. Guess what? We don't know when the king's gonna come, and no bride knows when that groom's gonna call for her. So you don't go to another female who is in her purpose and say, help me, or girl, let's go get some, we going out tonight, we're gonna find us a man. Because with the mindset of that alone already got you out of place to find the right one in the first place. Because if you had the right mind, you wouldn't be doing that. It's like a premature birth. You're prematurely acting out of desperation and the flesh. Now, verse 15. Now, when the turn of Esther, the daughter of Abihail, the uncle of Mordecai, who had taken her for his daughter, was coming to the king, she required nothing but Haggai, the king's chamberlain, the keeper of the women, appointed, and Esther appointed favor in the sight of all them that looked upon her. So Esther was taken. So she said, I don't really want much. Can you just go with me? Or can I just, you know what I'm saying? She understood, okay, if you're close to the king, I want to get close to you. So not only did the Father give her favor, but what did he do? He also gave her wisdom. Happy set apart day, brother born Savior. Shalom to you as well. Shalom. Oh, yeah, shalom. And to yours, if there be any amongst you. Where was I? So Esther was taken unto the king, unto his house royal in the 10th month, which is the 10th month, okay, in the 7th year of his reign. And the king loved Esther above all the women, and she obtained grace and favor in his sight, more than all the virgins, so that, excuse me, so that he set the royal crown upon her head and made her queen instead of Vashti. Then the king made a great feast unto all his princes and his servants, even Esther's feast. And he made a release to the provinces and gave gifts according to the state of the king. And when the virgins were gathered together the second time, then Mordecai sat in the king's gate. Esther had not yet showed her kindred nor her people, as Mordecai had charged her, For Esther did the commandment of Mordecai, like as when she was brought up with him. So we're already seeing that Esther is already obedient. Is she obedient to the head male who raised her? She's not going to have a problem being obedient to the king. Now, I want to stress something, beloved sisters and brothers, that we are a broken nation and that a lot of us didn't have our fathers. And so that affects us. Think about it. She didn't have Mordecai's command. Do you understand? She could have made some simple mistakes that could have made her become distasteful. But we know that the Father has placed favor upon her. So her calling to be there was beyond her, and her calling to be selected was beyond her. So that would tell you, women, don't be out here doing the most for the man. Take care of yourself, invest in the word, and be found. But in the wait is vitally important, because before this moment, they went through 12 months, which is a whole year of purification. So if you're coming from a toxic relationship, or if you had a toxic upbringing, you need to let the word purify you from that, so that when the man comes, you're not carrying waste. Because no one wants, because two flesh become one. So the flesh needs to be a whole flesh, and a whole flesh becoming a whole wide flesh. All right. So, and after these things did King Ahasuerus promote Haman the son of Hammedatha the Agagite, and advanced him, and set his seat above all the princes that were um, with him. And all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed and reverenced Haman, for the king had so commanded concerning him. But Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence. Bowed not. Okay, he did not acknowledge him. I want to skip that because we know that part, and I'm just trying to express Esther right now, because that's the reason. I'm not trying to overlook Uncle Mordecai. Shout out to Uncle Mordecai. Okay, but I'm looking for something. And if anyone knows and want to help, I'm looking for the part where Esther expressed and asked what, the king liked and stuff like that. Oh, let me see. All right. Bear with me, beloveds. All right, so I think it's back some. Maybe I overread it. So it said, now when the turn of Esther, this is in Esther 2 out of 15. I guess this is where I would see that. I was just looking for something a little bit more than that, though. Yeah, because after this, you're reading more into Esther's going into the reasoning and cause of her being in the house. So let me just go back over it with 2. Again, I'm looking for, if you wouldn't mind helping, Born Savior, if you can. I'm looking for the part where Esther was inquiring about the king. I'm assuming it may be somewhere in chapter 2, Esther 2:17. Okay. And the king loved, okay, Esther above all the women, that she obtained grace and favor in his sight more than all than the virgins, so that she's okay, yeah. And that would mean, yep. So 15 is what I was looking for then. Yeah. So it says, in the evening she went, and on tomorrow she returned into the second house, that's 14, of the women, to the custody of Shagazag, the king's chamberlain, which kept the concubines. She came in unto the king no more, except the king delighted in her, and that she were called by name. That's just the rule. Now, when the turn of Esther, the daughter of Abihail, the uncle Mordecai, who had taken her for his daughter, was to go in unto the king, she required nothing but what Hagar, the king's chamberlain, the keeper of the women, appointed. And Esther obtained. So basically, the wisdom that the king gave her concerning him. So I remember the one night with the king. That was one of that's when I was a Christian. But that movie, I really liked that movie because of the story of it. Wasn't, you know what I mean? I just was like, ooh, Esther, that was really admiring to me. And that's why when I first came to the truth, I chose the name Hadassah for myself until the Father gave me Ziari. But what I noticed and I peeped concerning that movie was that they were allowed to receive all this treasure and different apparel, that probably was like Vashti's, or just stuff that was for a queen, that they could pick to go before him. And you could see the gold digger mindsets of, oh, putting all this extra on. And Esther was like, while they was rummaging through all the stuff, they're like, so listen, so tell me what he like. So tell me what he don't like. Okay, so does he have a favorite color? Okay, so like what turns him off? Like this is what Esther was doing. That's why I said she required nothing other than what the king's chamberlains gave her, which is a man who knows of the king, wisdom. So wisdom pleased him from his princes, and now Esther is seeking what pleases the king to put those inward attributes on, as it says that on women to adorn themselves, not just with the braiding of hair or platinum and the pair of jewelry, because for the fact that the scripture addressed that, it lets you know women did that. We wasn't looking like how the image of what people assume righteousness is today, which is bland, no makeup, no bracelets, just like that's not righteousness. Righteousness is inward. And it doesn't matter if I'm bland or I have jewelry on. If I don't have an inward righteousness, then I'm not righteous. So that's what that scripture was addressing. And this is what Esther was putting on. So while they was doing the most with the jury, she was putting on the characteristics. Because we know that when she go to bed, she ain't gonna be sleeping with all that jewelry on. And she gonna age. But what's not gonna be taken from her is the wisdom that she received. And what cannot be taken from you, my beloved dear sisters, is the characteristics and the integrity and the inward attributes that you acquire in your weight that will please the king. All right. And it cannot be faked. It should not be counterfeit. It ought to be authentic. Authentic. All right. So that's what I really wanted to read and express. Now let's go over more and talk about how now we know that Vashti did not come when commanded, but yet Esther presented herself when not called. And so we'll say, well, what's the difference? She went, that's the same, but no, it's not. Because I want to help any Medians or Persians who might be jealous of the history of our dear great auntie, mama, or whichever she may be to us, Queen Esther, aka Hadassah. Because don't let it get twisted. We don't know what Vashti's nationality was, but we know that she got rightly replaced by the people which was the Jews, by the people that was despised amongst that province. It didn't say the Jews was in rulership. It was the Persians. This King Xerxes, and he was not a Jew. Let that marinate. So don't think first. That's why when you see these other women, these washed up, whatever women's, them Indian women's or whatever like that, don't think they don't know for a slight second when they see us daughters of Zion, they don't remember that. And this is why they're angry, because their men, can't keep their eyes off of us. You go on a gas station, 7-Eleven, you try to get some gas, and he trying to get a pass. You know what I'm saying? I had to say pass. I want everybody to think I'm saying that silently in your mind in that way on this holy set apart day. All right, Esther's plea. Let's start with Esther's banquet for the king. Okay, so the king and Haman came to the banquet with Esther, the queen. And the king said again unto Esther on the second day at the banquet of the wine, what is thy petition, Queen Esther? Now look at that banquet of the wine. So just so you think about in a wedding, they have the cocktail hour, and then they have the main course, after maybe the dance. Well, this is the banqueting of the wine, which means before the real course, they had different little moments, like the wine where you just was whining and chilling and talking. And then you got the probably like hors d'oeuvres, or, you know what I'm saying? Samples, or, and then you got the main course. So her maidens are preparing, and she was preparing things. And while the things are getting prepared, they're just sipping wine and just congregating and talking. And I break these things down so that I can help you see the picture as I'm reading, because I believe mental pictures, it helps me, and I would like to help you in that way as well. Okay. Moving along. And we also know that Haman had a wicked wife as well. So think about when the scripture talks about two become one. He in the scriptures also says that a wicked man's portion is a wicked woman. So Haman was a wicked man. His wife was wicked. And you see how the help that she gave him and the influence that she was in his life was wretched. I'm telling you, if you see a wicked man and he got a wife, you better know the woman behind him. Don't underestimate her. Don't underestimate a wicked man's wife. You think in the slavery days that the slave master was something, them women's was something else. They probably was the main ones behind a lot of lynchings. And I also read too that the women had more slave owners. There were a lot more female slave owners than there were men. Today, this is where you get the concept of Karens. Like you don't dare walk in somewhere, sisters, and look nice and have something go for yourself. They give you a look like the nerve of you to have that. And I look at them like, and the nerve of you to think that I don't and I should not. And now get your face off of me. You can't look at me that long. You know what I'm saying? Or sometimes they don't even get acknowledgement. I give them a little sarcastic grin because I feel them looking at me. So I'll just be like, moving along. So it's in the king. Okay, so verse 3. Then Esther the queen answered and said, if I have found favor in thy sight, O king, and if it please the king, let my life be given me at my petition and my people at my request. Now, see the wisdom how she operating. Not only did she have wisdom to get in the house, but she allowed wisdom to keep her in there and how to move in that house. She realized there's danger in the land amongst my people. And I gotta like, this pass cannot be intercepted. It's going to have to be a touchdown because he's already in the touch ground. He's already in the yard line where if once he catch this ball, we in there. So soon as I open my mouth to him, I got to make sure it's the catch to touch the heart. And she said, if I found favor in thy sight. In other words, sisters, you should want to find favor in the sight of your man. Not the man always wanting to be the prize and he earned for your love and the man earned. It's actually something, I'll tell you like this. The one that each one is made for, it doesn't take a lot of work. It automatically just happens. It's divinely fitting. And time ain't really going to matter. Because she's going to recognize, he going to be familiar to her. And it's like the familiar, I mean, is he's going to get her. She's going to get him. They're going to have understanding. Okay. Then the king Ahasuerus answered and said unto Esther the queen, wait, I'm sorry, I skipped something, y'all. Okay, verse 4. For we are sold, I and my people, to be destroyed, to be slain, and to perish. But if we had been sold for bondmen and bondwomen, I had held my tongue. Which means if I was a slave, I wouldn't have said anything. So let you know, we weren't slaves in that time. It's just we didn't have a king. So we was under the province of another people, just like kind of like now times. We're not slaves, but we're not in rulership. Now, I can say I'm not a slave because I'm born again, but our nation of people are under enslavement mentally, financially, systematically, generationally, righteously, spiritually, and so forthly. Okay? She said, I would have held my tongue. No, she said, I wouldn't even have spoke out if we had right to be treated like this. Saying, I wouldn't even bother you, honey. I hate to bother you, sweetheart. But you know what? Me and my people, we are in danger. And our lives are going to be taken from us. Although the enemy could not contravail the king's damage. Then the king Ahasuerus answered and said unto Esther the queen, who is he, and where is he that durst presume in his heart to do so? And who had the nerve in his heart to even think of such a thing. And Esther said, the adversary and enemy is this wicked Haman. Then Haman was afraid before the king and the queen. Boom. Oh, can you imagine that fury going through him? How she broke it down. He's sitting there feeling good after that wine hour. Hey, chilling. He relaxed. Probably got something picking his teeth out from the good old fashioned goat or lamb. They was probably having steak or whatever, lamb rolls and guy rolls or whatever have you. He's sitting there picking his teeth. Yeah, man. And he looking at the queen like, oh, what's the matter? She's scared somebody gonna, he probably gonna call me to get him. Yeah, queen, what's going on? This wicked mad Haman. But matter of fact, as she was mentioning it, saying her people, when she said people, I think maybe conviction might have been setting in Haman, like there's been a decree against a people, the Jews. He probably started looking at her closely, like, what's she talking about? Sound like she's talking about, sound like my dirty skeletons is coming out through her mouth. In such unaware, don't let the left hand know what the right hand doing, graceful way. That's how you gotta have it with the enemy. They never see it coming, man. It can't never see it. It's the best way to get them. And the impact of now I see you is much grander. He thought he was there to be elevated. He thought he was getting ready to get favored. He thought he was in there like skincare. So she bust his behind. This wicked Haman. I don't even like his name. Sounds too close to ham. But moving along. Then Haman was afraid before the king and the queen, and the king arising from the banquet of wine in his wrath. Oh, so they didn't even get to the part where he get to pick his teeth out and all the banquet food. The banquet of wine. So he got a couple drinks in the system. So the king operating with the liquid courage. And he's already been wooed by his queen. He's like, I'm gonna show my queen. Because she came to me correct. See, when you come to the king correct, he gonna do over and beyond. It's not a manipulation tactic. It's a wise tactic. You ain't got to do all these somersaults and slide on the pole and do all this and the twerking and the popping, locking and dropping it and all this in the jazz and bring somebody else into your bed for the king to want to do for you or stay with you. You just operate in wisdom and execute that knowledge accordingly. My beloved sisters. All right. And Esther said that, I read that verses, let's see, finish in 7. In place of the guard says, and went into the palace garden, and Haman stood up to make request for his life to Esther, the queen, for he saw that there was evil determined against him by the king. So he said, oh, he put on he got his stuff together. As he's walking, you see his cape thing just moving in the wind because he's angry, he's furious. And the aroma of his oil, his lovely scent is leaving the atmosphere as he's walking away. And his wait men are walking behind him in attention. And Esther's standing there like, you little devil, you. And he on his knees. He's down on his knees, begging her, please. Do, 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 do. He hitting the boys and men. He hitting the Tevin Campbell. The Brian McKnight. He is in his begging bag right now. At verse 8. Then the king returned out of the palace garden into the place of the banquet of wine, and Haman was fallen unto the bed wherein Esther was. Then said the king, will he force the queen also before me in my house? In the house, as the word went out of the king's mouth, they covered Haman's face, which is his waiting men. He said, so he basically went in the house, probably to go put, get his sword or I don't know what he went to go do. But I know he probably went to, he ain't going to get no ring or no, it wasn't finna be no friendly stuff. And he come back and he's on his knees, pulling at her, begging her. He said, oh, he touching my queen. Oh, wait. Put the bag over his head. Get him out of here. And Haman is hanged. So that's just a little bit of treat. I wanted to give you all animation on that part. I want to read again the additions to Esther to remind you all, because as I was saying before, and approaching that the Feast of Purim is coming up, which was the feast that came about out of this the Most High's favor. They went unto from out of Esther into the province of his people in the province. So that same favor he placed on Esther was invested in her for his people, just like he put Joseph also in the house of Pharaoh for the times of his brothers and father and them, Jacob and our forefathers to come. All right. So it's in the additions of to Esther, which is chapter 10. Starting, let's go with verses 10. Therefore hath he made 2 lots, one for the people of Ahiah and another for all the Gentiles. And these 2 lots came at the hour and time and day of judgment before Ahiah among all nations. So Ahiah remembered his people and justified his inheritance. Therefore those days shall be unto them in the month, the 12th month. Okay. The 14th and 15th day of the same month, with an assembly and joy and with gladness before Ahiah, according to the generations forever among his people. Okay, so there you have it, where they were exchanging gifts, and it tells you that in Esther, I believe. And let me see. Let's start at Esther 9, verse 15. Okay. For the Jews that were in Shushan gathered themselves together on the 14th day, also on the month of what they call Adar, but it's the 12th month, and slew 300 men at Shushan. But on the prey they laid not their hand. But the other Jews that were in the king's province gathered themselves together and stood for their lives and had rest from their enemies and slew of their foes 75,000, but they laid not their hands on the prey. And on the 13th day of the month Adar, and on the 14th day of the same rested day, and made it a day of feasting and gladness. Notice it said the 13th, which goes to show you that it was like their it was two victories in one day. It was a victory of the Maccabees with them and the Nicanor, and also going into the Jews that were destroying 75,000 people in the province of the Media, Persia, on down to Ethiopia and all that. So the Feast of Purim, verses 18 of Esther 9. But the Jews that were in Shushan assembled together on the 13th day thereof, and the 14th day thereof, and on the 15th day of the same, they rested and made it a day of feasting and gladness. Therefore, the Jews of the villages that dwelt in the unwalled towns made the 14th day of the month, the 12th month, a day of gladness and feasting, and a good day in sending portions one to another. All right. And Mordecai wrote these things and sent letters unto all the Jews that were in all provinces of the king Ahasuerus, both nigh and far, to establish this among them, that they should keep the 14th day of the month Adar and the 15th day of the same yearly. People would assume that this is just a feast that the man made up. It's not a feast of the Most High, but the Most High honors men that he exalts, which means he allowed Mordecai to hear the rumor of the wicked ones plotting against the king, to allow him to report it, to get favor, so that he could then be remembered, they could be exalted and elevated, so then he could also, as a man, implement. Even though it was Queen Esther, notice Mordecai, which was the closest man to her, is the one that gave this decree. Because King Ahasuerus was like, okay, that's your people, so I'm going to let a man that you appoint of your people to give, because I don't know about y'all stuff like this. So go ahead, y'all. He basically was like saying, I'm going to do what the Pharaoh did with with Joseph. Jehoiakim, Zachariah was the name they gave him in his province. Joseph had authority. He said something, it was law. So Mordecai speaking this was considered law. When a righteous man speak, the Father will acknowledge. Noah cursed his Ham's younger son Canaan, and the Father said, "Hey, stay away from them." In other words, he signed off on it. That goes to show you, whatever you bind on earth is bound in heaven. Whatever is loose on earth is loose in heaven, which means in heaven there's agreement. It's approved. All right. So people can't say, "Oh, that's just a feast of man." This is a feast that we should be also recognizing. That's my point. Okay. So he said to establish among them that they should keep the 14th day of the month Adar and the 15th day of the same yearly, as the days wherein the Jews rested from their enemies, and the month which was turned unto them from sorrow to joy, and from mourning into a good day, that they should make them days of feasting and joy, and sending portions one to another, gifts to the poor. So even it wasn't people just say, "Oh, I'm gonna get it." It's like that. Now you see why in the 12th month of the heathens acknowledgement calendar, they have the mindset of Christmas. They were giving gifts and all that. We exchange gifts under the Feast of Purim. Okay. And so I made my announcement. I wanted to, I'm still looking to give some soaps and some toothpaste. If I sent the email out, did if you give me your email, I gave you an email. If you didn't, I still need your email. But I received your email, Born Savior. I didn't get. I have two other emails I have. I'm just waiting. So if you would like to receive a gift from me and be a blessing, that's why I said it's not charged. This is free, because you don't charge somebody for a gift. So you do what you can, even if it's someone you don't know. If you see a homeless man on the side of the corner, just think about when everybody else on Valentine's Day is thinking about getting gifts for their wife, their loved ones, or spouse or girlfriend or whatever like that. And a lot of fornications going on in the atmosphere. You just go ahead and look out for the random person on the corner, or at the barbershop who always hanging there and just trying to stay warm, or at the bus stop. Look for someone that you can be a blessing to. Get a blanket for them. Get some socks. Get some warmers, some foot warmers, hand warmers, something. You know what I'm saying? And be a blessing, family. Now, I want to read the qualities. I want to just go over some familiar scriptures for my sisters that we should meditate on to the point where it becomes like you're jogging and you're hearing it. You're sleeping and you're hearing it. You're eating and you're hearing it. Okay, I want to start off with Genesis. Oh, yeah, matter of fact, I didn't go to this part. Yeah, to help with the weight. Genesis chapter 24. Genesis 24. All right. 1 through 14. Okay. And Abraham was old and well stricken in age, and Ahiah had blessed Abraham in all things. And Abraham said unto his eldest servant of his house that ruled over all that he had, Put, I pray thee, thy hand under my thigh, and I will make thee swear by Ahiah, the husbandman of heaven and the husbandman of earth. Now, I believe that the reason he said under my thigh is because let my body bear witness onto your hand. Because I'm assuming that's why, I thought when I was reading it first that he was going to have him like repositioned, because, with in the nursing terms, the nursing home, when you have somebody that's like bedridden, you do reposition, of position. They say he wants to be from supine to side lion. So that's what I was assuming. That's what he put his hand on his thigh for. But I think his thigh being on his hand is probably like his seal, or the weight of his word being upon him to do what he's asking of him. You can't think what a cardinal funny mind. You got to really think deep, family, because our people that do nothing without meaning. We are people of meaning. All right. And I will make thee swear by Higher, that the husbandman of heaven and the husbandman of the earth, that thou shalt not take a wife unto my son of the daughters of the Canaanites, among whom I dwell. Boom. He said, I'm dwelling amongst the Canaanites. So where did he come from? Further up north. Like you read, the sides of the north, beautiful is the city of the king, the great city of the king. I believe that's Psalms 48, verse 2. So, again, if you look at the journey of Abraham, he came from up, like what you say, Turkey area, Iraq, Iran, Syria. That's the area he came from. That's the area he was familiar to. That's where his kindred was. Okay. And that's another reason why we tell people y'all need to invest in, understanding, just following simple biblical biography, geometry. No, not geometry, biblical geography. But thou shalt go unto my country. He said, my country. So, wow. He's telling them, go here to get my son a wife, because I don't want none of these Canaanite women with my son. And my weight is on your hand to get my son a wife. All right. So he said, and to my kindred, and take a wife unto my son Isaac. Now, go into my country, unto my kindred, and get my son a wife. And the servant said unto him, peradventure, the woman will not be willing to follow me unto this land. Must I needs bring thy son again unto the land from whence thou camest? He said, should I go back to the land from which you came? If the woman doesn't want to come over here, like, I don't want to go down there. I don't want to be around them Canaanites and them Hamites and them plate wearing, acting the fool people. I'm sorry, that stuff was always strange to me. Put plates in their mouth. And y'all saw the Black Panther when the one lady who was like, she was like, oh, it's funny. It's really funny to me. Hold on, I need to get something for my feet. Put a blanket over my feet because my feet are getting cold. Put me some little socks on. But they was like, yeah, on the Black Panther. People see that stuff and think that's greatness. That's us. That is not us. We was not putting nobody's plates in our mouth. I don't even understand it. It's weird. Moving along. So, and Abraham said unto him, beware that thou bring not my son thither again. He said, beware, do not bring my son. Oh, yes, because remember, Abraham had to leave that area because of Nimrod was seeking to kill him. And so if he find out that's his son, he going to try to take his wrath out, or whoever who was aware of Nimrod's plan, because people tend to get revenge like that. So they would try to take Isaac. And he's like, I don't need my son to be taken out of here. This is the promise. So he said, beware. Do not take my son and bring him thither to that place, to my homeland. I said for you to go over there and get him a wife. So for the wife is to be brought to my son. And now think about that with the weight. Does the wife know when the son's going to come? I mean, when a call's going to come for her? Hey, we're coming to bring you as a wife to Isaac. No? Now, a woman could get dreams. She could get understanding. She can receive signs. She can have discernment concerning stuff. But she still don't know when that knock at the door going to come. All right. And Ahijah the husbandman of heaven, which took me from my father's house and from the land of my kindred, and which spake unto me, and that swear unto me, saying, unto thy seed will I give this land, and he shall send his angel before thee, and thou shalt take a wife unto my son from thence. So take her from that area. And if the woman will not, so hey, I just want to let y'all, everybody, Britain or China, all y'all fighting over that, Africa, that all belong to us. So y'all can just hang up the towel, stop fighting and arguing. It's gonna be all right. Our name is stitched and etched into that land. It's recorded in the heavens. Okay, so do yourself a favor and don't get yourself all worked up now. All right. When we get it, it won't look the way it looks today. All right. All right. Moving along. And if the woman will not be willing to follow thee, then thou shalt be clear from this my oath. Only bring not my son thither again. So which means if any woman you go to will not come, then don't worry about it. We'll know the father will find a wife for him another way. But if she is not willing to follow, then she's not willing to be a wife. She's not worthy of my husband's wife. I mean my son's wife. Because think about it. What was the advice he gave to Ishmael concerning his wife? Get rid of her. She up here cursing, acting a fool, didn't greet me with hospitality. That's not going to work. So, an honorable wife sees the necessary need to be hospitable. Now thinking, I mean, it ain't nothing wrong if your man want to cook. That's fine. If he wants to help you clean, that's okay. If he want to help you raise the children, that's fine and dandy. But the solely responsibility is on the woman, and you should have joy to do that. It shouldn't be a chore. And even when you get tired and overwhelming, then just know when to give yourself a raise. I mean, a rest. Don't overburden yourself. And then when you have older children, especially daughters, you have them learn to help. Okay. That's what Ziva does for me. She helps me. And if the women will not, okay, I read that. And the servant put his hand under the thigh of Abraham's, his master, and swear to him concerning that matter. And the servant took 10 camels of the camels of his master and departed, for all the goods of his master were in his hand. And he arose and went to Mesopotamia. Mesopotamia. Now again, I'm gonna ask Google. I think I have my screenshots. Wait, because I did take pictures of what areas is Mesopotamia. All right, go to screenshots. Let me see. No, that's just no, that's not it. Bear with me, brothers and sisters. Oh, so it's not in there, huh? What? Oops. I don't have my Wi-Fi. Oh, I do have my Wi-Fi. Okay. Where is Mesopotamia today?
Iraq. According to Britannica, the name comes from a Greek word meaning between rivers, referring to the land between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, but the region can be broadly defined to include the area that is now eastern Syria, southeastern Turkey, and most of Iraq.
Shows you on the globe. The city went south into Egypt. For Egypt to be south of him, that means he came up north. He said, "Go in my country." You need to pay attention to biblical. Now, if this is where Abraham came from, those areas was Abraham speaking Hebrew? Yep. If you look on your globe thing, you look a little left of Iraq, you see the Jordan. Above that, you will see Israel, and you see the Mediterranean Sea. Then then some land. Then on by that, you see the Red Sea, which we crossed. That's the Red Sea right there. Trying to tell y'all, family. Abraham wasn't speaking nobody's Hebrew. He was speaking Aramaic. All right, moving along. And he made, or I read that, and he said, "Oh, Ahijah, husbandman of my master Abraham, I pray thee, send me good speed this day, and show kindness unto my master Abraham. Behold, I stand there here by the well of water, and the daughters of the men of the city come out to draw water." So he's like, okay, here come these people coming to me. They don't know me, Father. So, don't let no strife. Basically, Father, let it be peace, and let there be, whatever have you. Boom, check it out. Talk about hospitality. And let it come to pass that the damsel to whom I shall say, let down thy pitcher, I pray thee, that I may drink. And she say, drink, and I will give thy camels drink also. Let the same be she that thou hast appointed for thy servant Isaac. And thereby shall I know that thou hast showed kindness unto my master. So he said, listen, he said, Father, hey, let it be this. This is the third, blah, 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 moving along. And it came to pass before he had done speaking that, behold, Rebekah came out, who was born to Bethuel, son of Milcah, the wife of Nahor, Abraham's brother, with her pitcher upon her shoulder. And the damsel was very fair to look upon, a virgin, neither had any man known her. And see, a virgin, and neither had any man known her. So that virgin did not mean she wasn't touched yet. Virgin means she was of age to be married, and not known means she was not touched. Okay. Sorry. And she went down to the well and filled her pitcher and came up. And the servant ran to meet her and said, let me, I pray thee, drink a little water of thy pitcher. And she said, drink, my master. And she hasted and let down her pitcher upon her hand and gave him drink. Talk about hospitality. She didn't say, man, wait, you a whole scrub. I don't want your number. Scrub is like, she ain't hit him with that. Or from whence you come. Oh, you got some dinero for that? No. She said, drink on, master. Understanding that every woman is the head of the woman is the man. That's why she called him master. She don't even know him, but she's acknowledging he's a man. And the servant ran to me and said, let me, I pray thee, drink a little. Okay, verse 19. And when she had done giving him drink, she said, I will draw water for thy camels also. Wow, I'm telling you. You see how the Father be coming through? Don't this stuff be like, I get hyped when I read the word. I'll be excited. Okay. And when she had done drinking, she said, I will give water for your camels also until they had done drinking. And she hastened and emptied her pitcher into the trough and ran again unto the well to draw water and drew for all his camels. And the man wondering at her held his peace. Wondering at her. Wow. To wit whether Ahijah had made his journey prosperous or not. And it came to pass, as the camels had done drinking, that the man took a golden earring of half a shekel weight. Wow. And 2 bracelets for her hands of 10 shekels weight of gold. Wow. Them things was weighty, honey. And said, whose daughter art thou? Tell me, I pray thee, is there room in thy father's house for us to lodge in? And she said unto him, I am the daughter of Bethuel, the son of Milcah, which she bare unto Nahor. Abraham's dead. Wow. She said, moreover, unto him, we have both straw and provender enough and room to lodge in. And the man bowed down his head and worshipped Ahijah. And he said, blessed be Ahijah, the husbandman of my master Abraham, who have not let destitute my master of his mercy and in his truth. I being in the way, Ahijah led me to this house of my master's brethren. Oh, wow, y'all. Let's just thank the Father for that right now. Father, we just thank you. We just bless you for how you just be coming through. Like, we just love you, Father. That is beautiful. And the damsel ran and told them of her mother's house these things. And Rebekah had a brother, and his name was Laban. And Laban ran out unto the man unto the well. And it came to pass, when he saw the earring and bracelets upon his sister's hands, and when he heard the words of Rebekah, his sister, saying, thus spake to the man unto me, that he came unto the man, and behold, he stood by the camels at the well. And he said, come in, thou blessed of Ahijah, wherefore standest thou without? For I have prepared the house and room for the camels. Oh, I can just cry, y'all. Like, this is better than Lifetime. Okay, where we at? And the man came into the house, and he ungirded his camels and gave straw and provender for the camels and water to wash his feet. And the men's feet were with him. Oh, and there was set meat before him to eat. But he said, I will not eat until I have told mine errand. And he said, Speak on. And he said, I am Abraham's servant. And I have blessed my master greatly, and he has become great. And he have given him flocks and herds, and silver and gold, and men servants and maid servants, and camels and asses. And Sarah, my master's wife, bare a son to my master when she was old. And unto him have he given all that he had. And my master made me swear, saying that thou shalt not take a wife to thy son of the daughters of the Canaanites, in whose land I dwell. But thou shalt go unto my father's house and to my kindred, and take a wife unto my son. And said unto my master, Peradventure, the woman will not follow me. And he said, and I said to my master, Peradventure, the woman will not follow me. And he said unto me, Ahiah, before whom I walk, will send his angel with thee. Just like when you read with Tobit, when it comes to the meeting, shalom, when it comes to the meeting of the kingdom spouses, when they're coming together, the angel of the Most High has to go before them. Why? Because for each man, there's a woman that was written for him in the heavens. It was recorded. She will belong to this one. He is going to be head of her. And the angel is the escort, because the coming together of the children of the Most High in this holy matrimony, it's a holy matrimony because it's a holy people coming together. It is a great and grand and beautiful thing. That's why people like celebrity marriages is not, they should really steer clear from marriage if they're not holy, because the institution of marriage came by the creation of the Father. And if you're not going to be holy in your vows and holy in your marriage, it's like you shame the marriage, and you shame the constitution of two becoming one. Understand that's the whole mystery behind Yeshua and the body. Husbands, love your wives as the King Yeshua has loved his body and has given himself for. That not become a sent for, not let a Gabrielle Union Wade type syndrome to run up in the building for, and let your son put on somebody's dress for. They definitely do. Their marriages are fake. It's all for publicity relevance. Moving along, we're in Genesis chapter 24, beloveds, and we are now at I think 40. And he said unto me, Ahiah, before whom I walk, will send his angel with thee, and prosper thy way, and thou shalt take a wife for my son of my kindred and of my father's house. Then shalt thou be clear from this my oath, when thou comest to my kindred, and if they give not thee one, then thou shalt be clear from my oath. And I came this day unto the well, and said, O Ahiah, husbandman of my master Abraham, if now thou do prosper my way which I go, behold, I stand by the well of water, and it shall come to pass that when the virgin cometh forth to draw water, and I say to her, Give me, I pray thee, a little water of thy pitcher to drink, and she say to me, Both drink thou, you and your draw for your camels. Let the same be the woman whom Ahiah have appointed. Oh my goodness, underline that. Out for my master's son. And before I had done speaking in my heart, behold, Rebekah came forth with her pitcher on her shoulder, and she went down to the well and drew water. And I said unto her, Let me drink, I pray thee. And she made haste and let down her pitcher from her shoulder, and said, Drink, and I will give thy camels drink also. So I drank, and she made the camels drink also. And I asked her and said, Whose daughter art thou? And she said, The daughter of Bethuel, Nahor's son, whom Milcah bare. Milcah bare unto him, and but I put the earring upon her face and the bracelets upon her hands. So there was exchanging of jewelry. People be like, oh, getting rings is pagan. Whether it's a ring, a bracelet, a staff, a cat, a dog, a mansion, there's some exchanging of evidence. Okay. And I bowed down my head and worshiped the high and blessed the high and the husbandman of my master Abraham, which had led me in the right way to take my master's brother's daughter unto his son. And now he will deal kindly and truly with my master. Tell me, if not, tell me that I may turn to the right hand or to the left. Then Laban and Bethuel answered and said, the thing proceeded from Ahiah. We cannot speak unto thee bad or good. Behold, Rebekah is before thee. Take her and go, and let her be thy master's son's wife, as Ahiah hath spoken. That is beautiful. Here comes the bride, all dressed in royalty. Here comes the bride, and she's dressed in royalty. All right. And it came to pass that when Abraham's servant heard their words, he worshipped Ahiah, bowing down himself to the earth. And the servant brought forth jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment and gave them to Rebekah. He gave also to her brother and to her mother precious things. Come on now. He came correct. So beyond some stupid Valentine's Day, when the proposal was presented, inheritance was also presented. All right. So everything that the pagans, that concept of exchanging a ring actually came from this ordeal here. Because we see that jewelry was heavy then, and not then. We had women who did a lot of work with their hands. So bracelets and earrings show, oh, she, because earrings, I believe, is a symbol of a slave. They get pierced one side, okay, and if after 7 years, after you to be free with a year of jubilee, if you choose to stay, then you get the other one pierced. Or suppose you had wife and child in that home, and the master, it belongs to the master, but you don't want to leave your family, you will stay there and say, I'll be a bondman or to you. And boom. But today and age, we wear earrings as like a part of our fashion decor. And even Solomon wore jewelry, So let me move along. So it says, and they did eat and drink, and the men that were with him and tarried all night. So notice she hasn't even met with Isaac yet, but they're already, the father has revealed that she's appointed for Isaac. Now Isaac don't know yet. He ain't even get to see her yet. But here it is. They eating, drinking, celebrating. And notice it says Ahiah appointed. This is why, sisters, you ain't got to be trying to go on 14, 15 days to try to figure out if it. I'm telling you, when you meet the one that's made for you, that you're made for, it's going to be divinely. It's going to just be, like where you been all my life. It's going to be, you know what I'm saying? Verses 55. And her brother and her mother said, let the damsel abide with us a few days at the least 10. After that she shall go. And he said unto them, hinder me not, seeing I have prospered my way. Send me away that I may go to my master. He said, she can stay with, I'm going to go and bring the report. Focus, Yuri. And he said unto them, okay, verse 57. And they said, we will call the damsel and inquire at her mouth. And they called Rebekah and said unto her, wilt thou go with us, this man? And she said, I will go. Okay. She said, listen, I know y'all want me to stay, mom and dad. It was real. You know what I'm saying? Everybody hug up. Y'all, that was a lovely feast. Yes. Mom and dad. But it's time for me to go. All right. She said, I don't got time to be playing around. When the father ordained a certain thing, I'm going to follow what the father said. And they sent away Rebekah, their sister, and her nurse, and Abraham's servant and his men. And they blessed Rebekah and said unto her, Thou art our sister. Be thou the mother of thousands of millions, and let thy seed possess the gate of those which hate them. I'm going to say that again. Highlight, family. Come on, get your highlighters if it ain't highlighted. Again, we read, and they blessed Rebekah and said unto her, Thou art our sister. Be thou the mother of thousands of millions, and let thy seed possess the gate of those which hate them. What did he say to Abraham? And I will bless those that bless you and curse those that curse you. Come on now. And Rebekah arose and her damsels, and they rode upon the camels and followed the man. And the servant took Rebekah and went his way. And Isaac came from the way of the well. So they was riding high. Talking about we riding on camels on their way. Okay, get that picture in your head. And you know the camels was decked. Had a little bit of fringe going on with them. Had a little sack on the side, like where they put the little thing in there. Had some, probably had an earring in it. That wind is crazy, y'all. I woke up this morning with my front door kind of cracked. I'm thinking, how did that happen? I thank the Father that my angel was up in here in the building, because devil is a liar. Moving along. And Isaac came from the way of the well, Lehari, for he dwelt in the south country. And Isaac went out to meditate in the field at the evening time. And he lifted up his eyes and saw, and behold, the camels were coming. He went, oh my goodness. Oh, this is beautiful. Come on, y'all, let's read. And Rebekah lifted up her eyes, and when she saw Isaac, she lighted off the camel. I'm talking about that. Okay. She said, that's my husband. I didn't say husband. I said husband. Okay. She ran to her husband. I want to highlight that part. For she had said unto the servant, What man is this that walketh in the field to meet us? And the servant said, It is not my master. Therefore she took a veil and covered herself. Which means she wasn't covered then. For somebody would say, I would assume the veil would have been like what a veil is when a woman gets married, over the face. Not, or you know how the women like we be wearing like this with the thing like this. But it said she covered her face, so that means the whole thing was covered. That's why she said, "What man or man?" But like not everybody don't know. Everybody get a chance to look at this face. Come on, come on, Rebekah. Come on, Rebekah. And the servant told Isaac all things that he had done. And Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent and took Rebekah, and she became his wife. Okay, and loved her. And Isaac was comforted after his mother's death. Come on and lift him. Talking about royal love. Come on, talking about righteous love. Come on. He said, come on off this camel. Give me your hand. She got on down. Come with me, sweetheart. It's been a long time coming, haven't it? Yes, it has. I know it has, sweetheart. Well, listen. And he said what he said, and she heard what she heard, and it was what it was. And beautiful marriage and unity. So, y'all, I'm sorry, I'm a sucker for love. And so, no, I'm not a sucker for love. I like relationship stuff. Like I like, That's beautiful. And so with that being said, I want to read a few things for the sisters. Okay. Starting off in Numbers, since we're in Genesis, I want to go to Numbers 36:1. 36:1. It said, and he loved her and was comforted, which means he had peace. Wasn't no nonsense. Okay. And the chief fathers of the families of the children of Gilead. Wait, is that what I need? 136:1. Yeah. Okay, I see what I'm looking at. All right, all praises. All right, and the chief fathers of the families of the children of Gilead, the son of Machir, the son of Manasseh, of the families of the sons of Joseph, came near and spake before Moses and before the princes, the chief fathers of the children of Jacob. And they said, I had commanded my master to give the land for an inheritance by lot to the children of Jacob. And my master was commanded by Hiah. Wait, I'm sorry, I read it again. And my master was commanded by Hiah to give the inheritance of Zelophehad, our brother, unto his daughters. And if they be married to any one of the sons of the other tribes of the children of Jacob, then shall their inheritance be taken from the inheritance of our fathers, and shall be put into the inheritance of the tribe whereunto they are received. So shall it be taken from the lot of our inheritance. And when the jubilee of the children of Jacob shall be, then shall the inheritance be put into the inheritance of the tribe whereunto they are received. So shall their inheritance be taken away from the inheritance of the tribe of our fathers. And Moses commanded the children of Jacob according to the word of Ahiah, saying, the tribe of the sons of Joseph have said well. This is the thing which I do have command concerning the house of Ephraim, daughters of the Zelophehad, saying, let them marry to whom they think best, only to the family of the tribe of their father shall they marry. Now, I want to express this because now, with understanding, remember, the father gave Joseph a special blessing upon a blessing because of his faithfulness and, and just who he was to him. After forgiving his brothers on the level he forgave them and did well with them concerning them. So there was a special blessing for the house of Ephraim. So it was saying that let the daughters of Ephraim marry within their house and their tribe so that inheritance is not, offset. Oh, let me do you a favor. And let me go ahead and block you off my channel because I don't got time. And I addressed you yesterday on my channel about, let me remove this silliness off my channel. I rebuke you in the name of Yeshua, just as my father told me to rebuke and ignore you. Bye. Meanwhile, I'm reading word and this clown is in my chat acting a fool. That's what I was talking to y'all about yesterday, concerning on the Instagram, doing all silly kind of nonsense and stuff like that. See, I don't have that kind of nonsense in my area. A fool will not tarry in my sight. Foolishness will not, foolishness will not tarry in my sight. And anybody else that's watching with him and you got the same kind of mindset, the door is open. This is a time for you to dismiss yourself. I knew it was a matter of time before he was going to show his head. Sickening. Now, and every daughter that possesseth an inheritance in any tribe of the children of the house of Ephraim, really, this is what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be identified here as the house of Ephraim. Why would it be saying Israel, which is supposed to be the name of Jacob, when this is talking about the house of Ephraim? This is not talking about the whole nation. That goes to show you the people that put that name there, they don't know nothing. You got to have the spirit. You got to be born again. Now, every daughter that possesseth an inheritance in any tribe of the children of the house of Ephraim shall be wife unto one of the family of the tribe of her father. So if she's from Manasseh or Ephraim, she needs to stay within Manasseh and Ephraim. Let the children of the house of Ephraim may enjoy every man the inheritance of his fathers. Neither shall the inheritance remove from one tribe to another tribe, but every one of the tribes of the children of Ephraim shall keep himself to his own. No, not just Ephraim, but the house of Jacob shall keep to his own. Now he's addressing the nation on that one. Himself to his own inheritance. Even as Ahiah commanded Moses, so did the daughters of Zelophehad. For Maliah, Tazara, and Hoglah, and Milcah, and Noah, the daughters of Zelophehad, were married unto their father's brothers' sons. And they were married unto the families of the sons of Manasseh, the son of Joseph. And their inheritance remained in the tribe of their family of their father. These are the commandments and judgments which Ahiah commanded by the hand of Moses unto the children of Jacob in the plains of Moab by Jordan near Jericho. There. So just wanted to read that for understanding of marriages need to be in tribal recognition. So that lets you know that when the father brings the man for you, he gonna be of your tribe. From your father's house or from, within, I mean, if as long as it's from a tribe, it can, I would assume now because we're greater in number, it can be from another person's house. But well, from yeah. Families of the sons of the Manasseh. Yep. So basically the tribe. So certain things that was written concerning the people could be in there. Right. And you got to think about it like this with the tribe chart. Think about it like this. We were sold and we and scattered abroad. Then when we got to certain places, after time, if one slave chose to sell you over here or sell you over there, you were scattered. So just understand there's no possible way that all of so-called African Americans can be all Judah. Now, if you Judah, you could fall under Levi and Benjamin. That doesn't mean all Jamaicans and all Haitians are Levi and Benjamin. That concept is flawed because I just gave an example of we were separated. Then over time, people ran during Harriet Tubman time. Some people went here, some people went there. We migrated. So people want to be mad at me because I say I'm from Benjamin and I don't come off and look like, well, she don't look Jamaican. No, the Father revealed my tribe. Somebody say, well, he'll reveal our tribe. If you choose to believe that he'll reveal the tribe to you lay down the road, and that's your business. You're not going to take my joy because what the Father revealed to me. You can't take revelation from me. Now let me go on over here to is it Luke 12:36? Let's see, Luke 12:36. I had made some tacos for Shabbat yesterday, right? Kids don't know that I had blended some non-meat taco in there. Meat, right? It was because I had got turkey meat, but I ran low on the turkey meat. And I had this because we was on a certain kind of fast, whatever. And so I had some, it was crumblers, not plant-based meat. Zion was like, I don't trust that stuff. I don't trust that stuff. Let me tell you, I said, Zion, you want some taco? He said, no, I'm good. Zion is the one. Zion gonna play. He will not. Zion do not. It's like I believe it's something internally spiritual with him, what the Father protect him, that just certain things that he will not eat. People will look at him and think, she ain't feeding that child. No, that child, that boy is nimbly picky. And him and Zilpha, my other princess, she's the same way. They will not eat mayonnaise. They don't like any kind of cheese but mozzarella, and they don't like their leftovers or their food cold. I was like, my babies. Luke 12:36. And ye yourselves like unto men that wait for their master when he will return from the wedding, that when he cometh and knocketh, they may open unto him immediately. So I wanted to give that scripture in context of understanding. Okay, all praises. I felt that you were. But as the Father knows when the Son will be sent, no angels or neither the Son knows, no man or on earth knows. So we as a bride are in continual preparation. So well, as far as I say for my sisters, in the wait is you do the same righteousness as the wise. Notice the wise versions. When you look at Matthew 25, was not Esther a wise woman in the way she presented herself to the king and how she was elected? with the favor. She didn't just rely on the favor. She did her due diligence. So don't just rely on, I know he got a man for me out there. He going to find me. Sisters, it is necessary that in the wait, you do what is required of you. So because, and guess what? And pray for him. And so the same for the males. Pray for the wives. Cover her. That she don't be sidetracked and beguiled by silly shenanigan fools out here. Wolves and frogs. Next, I want to go to 1 Timothy 3:11. 1 Timothy 3:11. I should have remembered when that comment was come out of its mouth and said, that's what Christians say. The Most High gonna send me a husband. That's what Christians say. When somebody says something as bugged out as that, you gotta wonder whether comprehension of scripture is like, what? That's not a Christian thing. Little do you know, whether they're Christian or not, those are still his people who have the word, but they don't have the knowledge. I mean, they have the zeal. So that means in us, genetically, there's certain reference we have. We know you don't supposed to bear false witness. You're not supposed to, we all knew these things. We just wasn't aware that we was the people. I just can't deal with, oh, Father, just keep, when they come, they're going to continue to get rebuked and get their feelings hurt. They think they're going to get a show over here. 1 Timothy 3:11. Even so must their wives be grave, not slanderers, sober, faithful in all things. Let the okay, so I just want to read that for the wives. Okay. Let's go to Ephesians 5, verses 33. Okay. Nevertheless, let every one of you in particular so love his wife, even as himself. And the wife sees that she reference her husband. Reference her husband. Reference him in dressing. Reference him in mannerism, social events. That's important too. Respect him in his presence and in his absence. All right. Don't take advantage of one's love. Just like it said Isaac was comforted, comfort your husband with peace. Okay. All right. So far. Oh yeah, let me read Proverbs 18:22 before I go. Proverbs 18. Whoso findeth a wife findeth a good thing and obtaineth favor of Ahijah. Okay, so wives being found is a good thing. So finding a wife and finds favor. Did not the servant find favor with the Most High when he made his trip and journey for him easy? And the first people that came onto him, he just, it's like, but guess what? That shows you the Father led him to that house. And while he's praying, Father's like, I already got this under control, but I like to see your mind in the right place, because you're acknowledging that I'm in all things. So that goes to show you everything concerning us is already in his hands. That's why it says the steps of a righteous man are ordered. Ordered. And who's going before that order? The angels go before, because the Father sends orders through his angels. So like Sade said, nothing can come between us. Okay. Now I want to play one more song and I'm getting about y'all hair. Let me see. I guess the reason why I always say I'm gonna get out your hair is because I like to do hair a lot. So that's probably why I say that. Well, why she always say hair? Where's that song that I like? Oh, I'm gonna have to go through my history. That's what I'm gonna do, yo. Because some stuff I'll be like, oh, that'll go good. I like for things to be relevant to my message. Okay, let me go to my history. Bear with me now, y'all. I done broke my nail yesterday. Don't stay along it. Oh well, who cares? Broke my nail. It is what it is. Bear with me, y'all. Is it starting over or is it me? Okay. I think I'm getting somewhere. Do 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 do. Keep on talking. Speak to my heart, Holy Spirit. Give me the words that will bring me. If I can find it. Cover me. Speak to my heart. Speak to my heart. Give me your holy word. If I can hear from you, then I'll know what to do. I don't know I gotta be on my own. Give me your spirit guide. What y'all know about that? If I don't find this song, as there's a brother. What's his name? His channel. He says Ahaya. Um, he sings music, and he said he about to do some set apart like love music. I said that's what's up because it'd be nice for when there's weddings in the nation where people can play those righteous set apart love songs. Now I don't have a problem with love songs that the ancient love songs throwbacks. It's woman and man because okay, you know what? I'm gonna just type in the artist and then see if I can find it on that way because sometimes it's better that way. Sorry. All right. So this brother, it's by the name of Limbo Blaze. Let me see if I can go to his song. He just released this new album, and he has on the album him and his beautiful wife. And there's a song he did. Here it goes. It's called "This Loving," and I wanted to share this because I feel it's necessary to go with the lesson and the topic of lesson. So just to see beautiful love in a righteous context, people that's laughing and thinking, "Oh my gosh, look, it don't even seem like the blizzard came." Let me look out the window real quick because I hear the wind is absurd out there. It's just doing its thing. It's basically the north winds and the spring winds, I guess, contending. We got a little sleet of it, not much, as they made it to be, I guess, blizzardly. I guess the blizzard comes from the temperatures of the freezing of the snow and the rain or whatever, the moisture from the sun melting it. Yeah. Okay, here's some. I'm gonna show y'all a video to go with it. You have a blizzard too? Wow. Are you East Coast? North. Wow. Is that New Hampshire? I don't know what this is. Okay. But I never found that person for me. Okay. Wow.
She wanna meet my lady. We'll make a happy family. Baby, you and me. We only get to live one life. And I don't wanna waste no time. You see the stars tonight. Maybe it's a sign. Baby, go into it in my mind. There's no accident you can buy. Still believe in second chances. I can't lose this love and this love.
Look how cute they are. Royal love. You must say black love. That's royal love. People, I want y'all to understand, brothers and sisters. I'm gonna play something to you when the song's over. He did find a wife. It's a good thing. He put the scripture out. So what I want my brothers and sisters to understand is that do not think that the destruction, the death, the turmoil, the trauma of what you experienced in your dead state is all that was owed to you. That's the false narrative of the enemy. For one to think you ain't got to get married. People who are so busy, like with a backpack and looking to live in a tent, hype about the end. You're so busy looking for the end. You're not living in the present. The Father doesn't need you to be consumed with the end. He needs you to live in the present. That's why it's called present. It's, the kids was watching Kung Fu Panda, and the little chef, I don't know, chief, whatever that master little turtle said, he was like to the panda, he said, yesterday is the past. Tomorrow is a gift. Today is a present. And that's why within it says present. I'm trying to requote it, but long story short, like the enemy always wants us to be beforehand so he can destroy our now, or either be in the back so we can't see where we're at or have a gratification of where we could possibly be. So I want brothers and sisters to understand there is hope. There is hope for those who he has called out. And if you left those things, you're going to gain those things in the kingdom. And if the kingdom is within you and you be within the kingdom, then the outcome and the benefits, are innumerable and unsearchable. And the Father can do great things. You just have to not let negative Nancy's and negative nuances bother you. I downloaded this song. I mainly listen to old spiritual songs. Okay. All praises. See there? I like old school stuff as well. You know what I'm saying? I grew up as a young lady in off of CC and BB Winans. I remember being a little girl in the car seat, and my mother was in the Autobahn. And that one song, I don't know what was going on with my mother, but she pulled over in the car and she was crying. And I was in the back seat and she played that one song. It was a winter. It was a blistery winter going on. It was about Vanessa Williams. She ain't really do much music. But what that song by Vanessa Williams? Can't remember that song, but Vanessa Williams had a song. Let me see if I can Google it real quick just so I can refer what I'm talking about. Like, I like Sade. I listen to jazz. If it's talking about substance that keeps a healthy marriage, it's okay. But something like, oh, that's secular. Secular is things that influence sex. There's a difference, because back in the days, they used to sing about love. And like Anita said, I apologize, acknowledging she was wrong and making it be known. You know what I'm saying? People be just doing like they just be over the top. It's not even that serious. Like, you got to be spiritually mature to even understand what I'm saying. And as I was saying to myself, and I was laying down earlier, I said, the Father put in my mind about many are called, but few are chosen. If the chosen are few, and I told y'all I was sitting here for the few, I'm only on here for the chosen. So the called may come over here, but if you're not chosen, you're not going to remain over here. Come on with that nonsense on my check, with that foolishness. Let me see what that song is. You better go ahead somewhere. You better you better go ahead somewhere. I think it's saving the best for last. That's right. Dun, 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 dun. That song. And I remember being a little girl sitting in the high chair, not high chair, the car seat. And my mom pulled over and was crying. And I was a little kid in the back seat, and this song was on the radio. You know, isn't this world a crazy place? Well, let me get on out of here, y'all. Oh, it was real. Y'all have a lovely afternoon of set apart rest. Okay. And before I go, if there are any questions, comments, or concerns, this is the appropriate time to do so. Ooh, I thought I was typing. I'm just going to say it. If you've given me your email to receive any Purim gifts, check your emails. And if I have your email, I need your address. Okay. To get the stuff out, and give me a number of household residents for the gift. Now, there's only one toothpaste per house. Toothpaste per house. But I know bar soap, nobody wants to share that. So, okay, the number is going to be whatever have you. All right. And no worries about allergic reactions. Okay, I have the options you can choose from. Is you want to give me, it's like an RSVP. You want to give me your address. You want to give me which one you prefer, either the cream bar, which is shea and coconut, just, bar. It's white. It doesn't have any glitter in it. It doesn't have any, added stuff like that. Or you would like the J Clove bars, which is a signature lovely scent. Okay. And clove. Oh my gosh, y'all. I've used it. When I get to the clove part where like the clove is kind of sticking up, it blends so wonderful with the aroma that is the signature for the J Clove bar, which I will not be giving. So it's a J Clove, the cream bar, which is just a regular shea and cocoa, or the turmeric and honey cream bar. Okay. So you have those three options so far. And I'll be doing some for the summer and spring. We'll be doing like some watermelon. I mean, more children friendly popsicle bars. Okay. And watermelon, like fruit bars, soap bars, stuff like that. Interesting for children. But if you're interested in the options I gave, turmeric and honey, the cream bars, and the J Clove, just let me know upon your email. All right. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in. I pray that you all have a wonderful remaining of your set apart day, and shalom, peace to you all.